Welcome, entrepreneurs. I'm Ann Kay on my lifelong quest, Escaping Ordinary. Join me as I interview wildly successful and rising entrepreneurs that value travel as an essential influence in their outlook and mindset, and how it helps them live happy, fulfilling lives, build successful businesses, and craft their own extraordinary lives. I'm Ann Kay, and this is Escaping Ordinary. I'm so excited about today's guest, but first, if you missed the last episode, I hope you'll check out my interview with Jody Chaffee, who has started a movement that is grounded in a powerful framework, melding successful business cultures and applying it to families to live intentionally and question the status quo. Today, I'm excited to introduce my guest, Ron Cool, one of the most sought-after executive entrepreneur coaches and strategic advisors in the development game. He's known for helping leaders achieve results through his step-by-step mentoring approach, which has resulted in 10x results for his clients. Ron is the co-founder of LIVDIFFERENT, a done-for-you and done-with-you marketing agency. LIVDIFFERENT empowers leaders to transform by performing personalized coaching experiences that integrates the whole person. Ron coaches six-figure leaders on how to plan, grow themselves and their businesses. Personally, I know Ron as one of the podcast Profit Lab coaches that provide enormously helpful feedback during my 28-day training, which is culminating in today's podcast launch for Escaping Ordinary. His insightful input is backed by his firsthand knowledge from operating a phenomenally successful Hindsight Hacking podcast with Ron Cool and Corey Carter. Welcome, Ron Cool, to Escaping Ordinary. I'm excited to have you as my guest during my launch week of my new show, Escaping Ordinary, especially since you had a hand in helping me shape my podcast.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be here. This is great.
Now, look, I know you can riff on many topics, but for now, please tell us a little bit more about you and where the Hindsight Hacking, I love that hacking concept
Hacking.
came from before. No, I like it king because you guys are kings, you know?
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
And before we get to the one big question of the day, just catch us up.
Sure. All right, we'll go quick. Let's see. I was a director of operations for a nationwide restaurant chain. My passion was developing leaders, so I started like looking for other things to do. When I was in my 20s, I fell into network marketing and felt that didn't work. Don't want to do it. And this guy just wouldn't stop bugging me. So I decided to do it, and it exploded just because how I mentored people and went from 0 to 26,000 a month super quick. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. So I started putting out systems. That company sold. I went to another company, stole my downline. I was super upset. I was like, I'm not doing that ever again, never doing it. Went I wanted to work for a company that kind of had my values. I actually went to go work for Starbucks. Um, Owned a couple restaurants, swore I'd never do that again, and just kind of developed through Starbucks. Ended up getting a divorce, which I'm sure we'll talk about in your show. But then got remarried, found the love of my life. She's amazing. She makes me a better person. And we have three kids, but it was right at that time of having our third child. The what if questions started popping back up. Do we have enough money? Do we have enough time? Like, what are we even doing? Are our normal kids, are we giving them everything we can give them? And so Corey and I, we've worked together, and his passion aligns with mine, and we work very well together. And we're like, okay, what if we started doing like in-person seminars and classes that really just we could dive into our own personal, you know, way of being.
Mm-hmm.
And then I reached out to a mentor coach of mine, and she just launched a book. And she goes, Ron, you need to figure out how to do sideways marketing. You do really good at it. You don't have to recruit anybody. And I was like, I don't have a clue what that is. Like, what is that? Sideways marketing, right? So I go, Corey, sideways marketing, have no clue what that is. Can you go figure out what that is? So that was like his task. And he came back with ClickFunnels because that's what it was, right? Sideways going through the cart.
Mhm.
And he's like, hey, we should do this ClickFunnel thing and do everything we're doing online. And I said, I don't want it.
Aw.
That, that's not what I want to do. I really like connecting with people. And so then he introduced me to Catherine Jones because I love designing stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hooked. Let's do it. Um, and then we started figuring out, you have to publish, you have to publish, you have to get out there, you have to find your voice and all those things. And Corey goes, have you heard of Jamie Atkinson? And I said, nope, never heard of him. I don't know who that is. Right. And so he goes, just listen to his podcast. And I go, dude, I don't want to listen to podcasts. Like, I don't know. So I started listening to Jamie's podcast. Then we went into the 28-day, uh,
The one I just came out of that
podcast
you helped
profit
me.
lab. Yeah, like I went from not knowing anything from day 0 to day 28. I had a top 15 in the United States
It's
podcast.
amazing. Isn't it
Right?
amazing?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Wait a
So
minute. Say that again. You went to what?
top 15.
I gotta
Yeah, and
watch
then
my language.
what
Wow.
was crazy is we bounced up like we were top 3 in Singapore like last week. I don't know why. I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And
Well, you
then,
guys are fun to watch too, so
well,
that's
thanks.
probably
Yeah,
why.
we had an interesting thing happen where someone sent us a video request to be on our show, and I was like, "Wow, that was kind of weird, right?" But our shows kind of developed from, we were on this learning journey, and we wanted to get highly successful entrepreneurs and ask them a simple question of, you know, looking back on hindsight's 2020.
Mhm.
What advice would you give yourself to be more successful? And then our goal was to take that hindsight and help other people hack their foresight to have better planning, or maybe just understand they're not as far away as they thought they were,
Uh-huh.
right?
I mean, the whole concept is amazing. It really is. Now,
Well,
would you be willing to this is like a really short intro kind of thing this week, but would you mind coming back and letting me explore your mind and go through all of the fun stuff and see how you came about with all of your experiences? Um,
I have no problem. I would love to. I think it'd
uh,
be great.
okay, great. Because I have to admit, that's something I really want to talk to you about. But I've got that one question I have to ask
Yes.
each of my customers, my guests. I was in sales. You're talking about food service. I sold for Cisco Food Service for 27 years.
Oh, there you
So
go. Mm. We're
so
speaking the same language now. Now,
yeah.
now we know. Now we know.
So anyway, let's get to the question before I go off
Sure.
on another tangent
Not
because
a
I am
problem. Not a problem.
really, really famous for that.
All right. Tough
Okay,
question. Let's go.
here we go. Looking back at experiences in your life, whether traveling somewhere around the world or just across town, is there one significant influence experience you could share with us that inspired change in who you became as the result and how that allowed you to craft successful changes in your personal life and business?
Yeah, this is a deep one. Are ready? Ready? All right.
Ready.
So I will tell you, when I was working at Starbucks, was married to my first wife. I tell everyone go to their second wife. It's much better, or second husband. It's much better. You kind of know what you want, right? But I was kind of going the wrong direction. I was going down the wrong path. I started drinking. I just wasn't happy. First marriage was really bad, separated a couple times. Starbucks did this thing for when Katrina hit New Orleans. They sent
Uh-huh.
every leader in the company to go there
Oh.
to volunteer. And gosh, I was like, one, I didn't want to go, wasn't ready to go. And I was always a positive person. I just wasn't that person anymore. So I get down there and we're working on this lady's house. Her name was Mama T. I don't know what her real name was. That's just
Mhm.
how she introduced herself.
2 yeah.
She was the most positive person I have ever met. Like she was so grateful and positive, and she was living in this little FEMA trailer because her house wasn't ready to be, you know,
Mhm.
put back in, for her to move back in.
Right.
And our work was over, and all we had to do was paint this little tip of her house, but they wouldn't approve her to come in until it was all done. But our work was done and we had to go. And I was like, oh
Ah,
my gosh, like that's all that's stopping you? And she goes, yeah, but I'm so grateful. And she was so thankful and happy and positive. I'm afraid of heights. I got up there myself and painted it before we left.
oh,
Okay.
wow.
But and I wish I could find her, like, because I want her to know like how much it impacted my life. I came home and I was like flying home on the plane, and I was like, man, I am not happy. I'm probably not a good dad. I'm definitely not a good husband. Like, this is not where I want to be. And selfishly, I was like, gosh, if I can make changes, like I'm young enough to kind of start my life over. Right.
Mhm.
And so I'm flying home and I was like, okay, you know what? I've always been afraid to make this decision because the fear of being unhappy. Right. The fear of being unhappy. I landed, went home, told my ex-wife I was done, I was leaving, and I left. I left. And that decision has made me a better person, made me
Mhm.
understand that it's okay to want to be happy. It's okay, right?
Wow.
And it's okay to make decisions to make you happy. And the more positive you are because of who you are, the better you're going to be able to impact people, which is what makes me happy, right? And so then you fast forward, like I'll tell you, I probably wouldn't have attracted my wife if I was that person before.
Uh-huh.
She says how positive I am, and that's what she loves about me. And it's crazy because that's who I always have been. And I just wasn't in my first marriage. Like, there was always two me's. There was outside of house me, and then there was at house me. And I promised myself I would never do that again to me. And I think I know I'm a better father. I know I'm a better husband, and I would like to think I'm a better person. But I owe that to my wife more than Mama T. But
Worry about traveling and how it affects
yeah,
you. Thank you so much for that. You have to come back so we can talk some more. Hey, please tell my listeners how they may reach out to you and learn more about Live Different and the Hindsight Hacking and any of your programs that may be just what they need to excel in their entrepreneurial endeavors. And I'll be sure and put your links in the show notes.
yeah. Well, the easiest way is obviously Facebook, but if you go to follow.cool, so www.follow.cool instead of .com. It's my
That's
connection hub. You can figure out where I'm at everywhere on any social, whatever, my groups, all those things. And maybe on your next show, I could talk a little bit more about our product we're about to launch.
now that's a little teaser. I'm looking forward to it. Got to get you back on early.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, Ron. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this show. It's been great to have you here. And if you liked what you heard, please hit the subscribe button now, like, share, and leave a rave review below. It would be most appreciated. And don't forget to join us next week. I can't wait to introduce you to my next guest. While you're at it, head over to Facebook and join the Escaping Ordinary group. You'll find the link in the episode notes. Once you're there, you'll be able to interact with me and like-minded entrepreneurs also looking to escape ordinary. Oh, and when you join the group, you'll get a special gift designed especially for those escaping their ordinary. In the meantime, be looking for those precious gems of inspiration all around you when you're traveling the world or just going around the corner, and start filling your treasure chest of insights.